going to create an activity here. So I want everybody to go to the Snapchat activity. Here's the Google Sheet, and I want everybody to make a copy of this in your Google Drive. I'm obsessed with folders. Okay. Make a copy. Alright, so on this first page, we're just basically gonna do like a mock histogram of what you're gonna do. Here in your second tab, you're gonna do one for the 8th graders. We go straight up in about 20 minutes. Okay, so this on the back side of the activity, and it says, how old are U.S. presidents? And we're given a table of all the ages of U.S. presidents when they took office. So underneath in this column right here, you're just gonna type in all of these ages from that table. Okay? So you don't have to do it in order. You can just start with Washington and work your way down. 61, 7. Like so. So obviously, since everybody made a copy, you should be doing number 5. You don't miss any, but there is a way to count these, and I'll show you that in a second.
Right.
I'm sure typing on my correctly. Okay.
Like all 3 columns, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All 3 columns. Okay. So way to make sure, you should have 43 ages. So way to make sure is you can highlight this data, like so, instead of counting them. Right down here, where it says what the sum is, if you click that, it'll tell you the min, the max, it'll tell you how many. So it says there's 43 total numbers. So yours all should say 43 in this bottom right hand corner. If you want to, you can kind of center it to make it look pretty, but that's up to you. Okay. Everybody good?
No.
Oh, okay.
Shoot, undo.
So if you hit like enter too, after you type it in like this, you can go like quickly instead of hitting the down arrows, enter. Alright, so again, when you highlight your list here, obviously not the title, but the actual data, you come down here, everybody's count should say that there's 43. Alright, I know it tells me the min and max right here too, but there is a command on Excel that when you highlight the data, it'll tell you what the min is. Are you guys super familiar with Excel?
Yeah.
Do you know how to type formulas in?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically a formula. So you want to hit the equal sign, and you want to type MIN, open parenthesis. So I want to know what the youngest age was from this list, and the reason why is because this is going to help us figure out like our class intervals. So you do open parenthesis, and then you highlight this whole list. So I want to know the minimum value from this orange, mine's orange, close parenthesis, and hit enter. And it should tell you 42. Okay, we don't want to do the autofill, so if this comes up, just hit X. And that did match, I believe, when I highlighted this. It did tell me my min was 42, but there's a command to do that. Okay, so for max, same thing, you're going to hit equals, and you're going to do the max, open parenthesis, of this whole list. parenthesis, hit enter. Okay. N means your number of entries. So when we go survey to 8th graders, I think it's Mr. Fry's study hall. I think he said there's 26 or 20, I can't remember what he said now, 27, I don't remember. Anyways, another command is you can hit equal, and if you hit count, open parenthesis, it'll count these up for us. And again, we know we have that little command in the bottom right hand corner, but you can also do it this way, close that parenthesis, hit enter, and there's 43. Okay, so we basically have to decide how we want to break up the class intervals, knowing our lowest is 43, our highest is 69, and there's 43 entries. A general rule of thumb, which you don't have to do this, you could probably figure out oh, let's start at 40 and let's maybe go up by 5, so 40 to 45. And I know in your ALEKS assignment it told you what the width was. But another general rule of thumb, what you can do is you can take the square root, you don't have to do this, I'm just going to show you because I saw this on this video I watched. You can take the square root of your sample size, so 43, and that tells you about how many classes you should have. So we should have about 6 classes. So then 6, take my min and my max. We can do this together once we get our data. Take that, divide it by, if I just rounded that to 6, that gives you about how, max or whatever. That tells you about how wide this should be, so about 4.5. I'm gonna do 5. Again, that's just a general rule of thumb, but you can kind of logically through that. We want to do 40 to 45 for our first, and then 45. We better. I think you can just do this: 45 to 50, 50 to 55. Google will calculate in if there is one exactly at 50, where it falls into. It'll do all of that for us: 55 to 60, 60 to 65, 65 to 70. Again, the reason we found this min and max, that kind of helped us figure out where we want to start and make sure our highest value is going to be capped somewhere in our class intervals. I do have 6 intervals, and that's what that square root of this number said. We should have about somewhere between 6 and 7, so this is pretty good. Okay. Now, in order to make the frequency distribution, you have to type in what the highest value is of each class. So if I broke up these intervals, the maximum of this class would be 45, and this is how your Google Sheet, will calculate where it falls in the frequency. So my max of this class would be 45, this would be 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Okay, now we don't even have to do the frequencies. There is a way that Google does it for us in Google Sheet. There's a formula. Okay, let's see if I remember this. You hit equals, and if you type in frequency, or FRE, this should pop up. So notice here in this little cheat sheet, it says you need to first highlight the data and then comment the classes. So we're going to highlight all of our data first, this whole column. So again, I hit equal frequency, and then comma. Here you don't actually select the intervals, you select this max class. Okay, here's the tricky part. Don't hit enter yet. Close the parenthesis. Here's the command you have to hit. Shift, Control, Enter, Enter. So Shift, Control, Enter, Enter. And it should fill it in for you. Yeah, right here. Shift, Control,
Do it. Yeah, mine did do it.
Enter, Enter.
Yeah,
They work.
mine did not do it.
No.
You guys have control on your do you guys
Yeah,
have-
no, press enter without, you press shift control enter and then take your finger off shift control and then press enter.
Mine
And
was-
enter again.
No.
Okay, so now how do I go back? Do I have to redo it all?
No, it's okay.
And
Let's do it again. So here,
I mean, do I have to redo the?
the frequency. Yeah, I
You
would.
shouldn't.
What'd you say, Sarah?
I did like control C and then it worked for some reason.
Oh.
I deleted the
Weird,
parentheses
okay.
out.
So I'll do it one more time.
Why is it down there?
And then press.
equals frequency. First, we gotta select the data.
Wait, now what are we doing?
I'm redoing it.
Oh,
I'm redoing it.
sorry.
You're good. Select the data, comma, the max of the class. Make sure you close the parenthesis. Shift Control Enter, and then Enter again. And there's your frequency. Okay, I kind of like to put this like in a little bit like a table, like that. So I did that by this. All right, now here is the other nice part is we don't even have to like make our own histogram. There's ways to do that in Google Sheets. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna highlight these. And this 0 down here, that doesn't mean anything. It's just something that kind of pops up with formula. Hold down Control and then select the frequency. Because this is what we want to plot. We want to plot the intervals and we want to plot the frequency. Okay, so again, I highlighted this. Hit Control, highlight the frequency. And then if you go Insert, Chart,
Pivot table. Pivot.
it should show up something like this, a column chart, which is our histogram. But remember, we don't like gaps in our histogram. So there's a button to do that, and there's really no like reason why this works. But if you hit this switch rows and column, it will get rid of the gaps. Okay, so here's like our histogram. Now, I couldn't figure out how to get like these class intervals down here. So the best way is we're just gonna like leave this, well, we can move this down here. I'll show you in a second. But we should probably have some like labels on our graph here. So if you go to customize,
Bless your soul.
you go over to customize and we go chart title. Let's title this age
Bless your
of
soul.
U.S. presidents. You'll see it add that title up there for you. Age of U.S. presidents. Okay.
Wait, you were trying to move the numbers up to the bottom?
Yeah, you can go to legend for that. We'll do that next.
Okay.
All right, so under this chart title, if you drop it, and it should say like horizontal and vertical axis title. So let's label these. So my horizontal axis, that would be this one. These are those actual age classes. We'll just say ages, and they'll show up down here. I did figure out you can move this to the bottom. I'll show you in a second. And then vertical axis title, that's this one, and we plotted the frequency. All right, so the only way I could like better organize this was I went to legend. Legend is this little like cheat sheet right here, the key for your graph, and I put it at the bottom, so it kind of looked like that. I couldn't figure out like how to put these like on on these, but this you could do this, something like that, and that's close enough. Like the blue one is 40 to 45. And there is our histogram.
Wait, how'd you move the...
This
oh,
thing,
there, just, there.
I think I just drug it.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
This you can like drag that. Okay. Everybody got it? Pretty fun, huh?
Yes.
All right, so on your like worksheet, on number 1, you can just write like on Google Sheet. We're not gonna actually handwrite it out. So this follow-up question says, describe the shape of the distribution. So it's basically like, if I were to kind of like trace this or even make like a polygon graph, I would say, there's like a peak in the middle here, but it's pretty symmetrical, a little bit more on the upper age side, but you could just say peak in the middle, pretty symmetrical. Okay. Next question. I'm gonna let you guys see if you can figure this out. What percent of presidents took office before the age of 60? What percent, so you're calculating the relative frequency of presidents took office before the age of 60?
Wait, does that mean you don't include 60, right?
Right.
So the 55 to 60, we count that.
So you're gonna have to, yes. How many people are in this one? So 55 to 60. 9. Yeah, count this one. So we do this number plus this plus this plus this divided by total number. Wasn't that 43? 43. About 79%. Okay, that's my answer to number 3 on this worksheet right here on back. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go to an 8th grade study hall. I'm gonna ask a sample. Obviously, this is just a sample of Fenimore Middle School 8th graders. We're gonna ask them how many people do they Snapchat in one day. Not how many snaps they send, how many people. So you'll each survey like 3 to 4 people. We'll all write our data here, and then we'll come back on our Google Sheet and do a frequency histogram. And then we'll also do some of this vocab. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop my video recording because we're going to go survey some 8th graders.
No, there's another.
Okay, so we just surveyed
Okay.
a study hall of 8th graders. Alright, Riley, I'm gonna start with you. Just shout out your numbers and we'll all just start typing them. So now I'm over here in the second tab of the same Google Sheet. Okay, Riley, what'd you have?
I had 50, 10, and 10.
50, 10, and 10. Okay. Sam?
50, 50, and 10.
50, 50, and 10.
Some of these kids are lying.
They're either really into it or they're kind of.
Yeah. No in between.
Okay, Allison?
30, 12, 8, 10, and 17.
Oh, wow, a wide range of data. This is gonna be fun. Okay, Kylie?
0, 5, and 30.
0, 5, and 30.
Yeah.
What? 0?
Whoever is at 0, I love that.
Some girl. She doesn't have Snapchat.
Oh, I love that.
So
Okay, yeah.
50, 50, and 15.
Toby?
20, 15, 20.
What'd you say? 20?
50.
50 and
Oh,
15.
50. Is that 15?
No, I had 20,
50,
15,
50
50.
and 50.
Oh,
Or 20, 15, 20. I was asking Mia what she had.
okay. Austin?
90 and 50.
90.
Who had 50?
Alright,
Oh
so
my
when you
God.
highlight this, there
That
should be
kid
22
is-
total students we surveyed.
I asked him.
Which, I did see
Well,
one
he
kid.
answered me. I was the one that asked him.
I'm the
Whatever,
one
it's
who
fine.
asked him. We surveyed the same person.
It's okay, that's alright.
Okay.
I also saw one kid leaving as we were coming in. I don't know if he was like going to the bathroom or something, so we'll just stick with this. Okay, so the min, obviously we know this is 0, but we can do equals min command, highlight,
The middle.
The max is
Although
gonna
line
be 90.
button.
max we know is 90, but again, we can do that command if it was. And then my count, we should hit 20. Okay, so now we have to decide our class intervals. So again, if you calculate the square root of your sample size, You should break this up into about 4 or 5 intervals.
Wait, what'd you do for the end again? Equals frequency?
Oh, count. Equals count, and then highlight doesn't count how many. Alright, so we should have about 5 intervals here, and to approximate the width, we can take our max minus our min, divided by, let's say we're doing 5, so 18 should be about our width. Okay, I can put this off to the side here, so to determine number of class intervals, approximate the square root of sample size. I want to write that down again. So equals, and then you can do SQRT, will be the square root. So I got that number. That was the square root. That's about 5 different classes. Okay, so then to determine width of each class, take your max minus min and divide it by this number, so 5. That's how you can kind of figure out like the width. I mean, you can also kind of do what makes sense, but this is, like I said, this isn't you have to do it this way. This is kind of just like a general rule of thumb with these. Okay, so you're gonna hit equals, parenthesis, take your max minus your min, parenthesis, divide that by 5. We're gonna do about 18 for each width.
How'd you get the square root one?
Equals SQRT. And then do parentheses.
If you're doing it of what?
The sample size of 22.
Okay.
Okay. So that means our first class would be 0 to 18. To 36. 36 to 54. 54 to 72. 72 to 90. That's nice because you use your min and your max to make sure you have both covered, and then it gives you equal widths. Okay, then over here you have to enter the max of each class, so 18, 36, 54, 72, 90, and I'm just using these numbers here. Okay, here's that command. So then for frequency, we hit equals, start typing in frequency. Here's a little cheat sheet. So first we gotta highlight our data, comma, the classes, you have to use the max class. Close the parenthesis, and then it's this little command, Shift Control Enter, and then Enter. Shift Control Enter, Enter. Wow, check out that.
Yeah, wait, Sophie, how'd you get rid of that thing
Like
again?
Control Z. Then it should show up.
Got it? Alright, so we're gonna highlight the class intervals. Control. Highlight the frequency.
You just write them. 18.
Oh, I meant the frequency.
You want me to do the frequency
Oh,
one
we have to
again?
do that first. It's 18, 36, 54, 72. 36, 66.
Insert, chart,
Yeah. And then,
Well,
yeah, highlight them all.
alright, switch rows and columns so you get rid of the gaps.
Yeah. And then highlight those. And then control
customize, and you can add in
Then
your
let go.
titles. So the
Then
chart
enter.
title, number of snap, number of people
Table.
snapped. Okay. Down for that.
Use highlighted or click and or I don't need. Okay,
Are you behind? Does this mean you need to go back?
I might need you to now
Okay.
because I missed it. But
Do we get the frequency?
control. Oh my god.
So you
Wonderful.
highlight this and then hit control and then highlight the frequency column. Because these are the two things we want it to plot. And then you hit insert chart. And then we don't want these gaps technically because this is a histogram, quantitative data. So you hit the switch rows and columns. Then the only other thing we want to do here is maybe add some titles. So then you go to customize, chart, title, number of people Snapchatted. For my horizontal, this would be number of people. My vertical, that's my frequency. And then the only thing I like to do is move that legend to the bottom. There we have it. So I think on the worksheet, I did it somewhere. I don't think we need to do a frequency polygon and okay, so this was like lower than I feel like I thought. Obviously, more our most common was that 0 to 18 range. That's good. There's hope. Okay, we'll stop there.